Okay, we're going to look at the first part of building the actual quiz app. Mentioned in the intro part that there's basically three files here when you create an iOS project. One is the app delegate, the .h and .m. We are not going to modify those much at all at the beginning. There's a couple things you can do with those, and we'll look at that a little bit later. The main thing that's going to be what we're going to work with is this view controller, which has the name of the project is the default one, quiz view controller .h and .m. And then the third part is a .xib file. It's usually referred to as a nib file, and that has the visual layout information. There's other ways you can create some of this actually in the program as well, but this gives you a place where you can sort of build a layout and then connect things to it, sort of on this level. And this is quiz view controller.xib. And then when you pull that up in this version, you have sort of this this default window here. This is the sort of a placeholder for the phone app screen. There's a couple pieces over here. We'll end up using these a little bit later to do some of the connections. The files owner is basically a placeholder for the view controller that this is the interface for. So this is quiz view controller.xib. That means that files owner is going to be quiz view controller. We'll do some connection parts. That'll be in a later video. For this one, basically we're just going to go through the building of the interface. What we're looking for in this setup is we're going to have a label here at the top. The question text will go there. We'll have a label here at the bottom. The answer text will go there, and then there'll be a button here to show the next question, and then a button to show the answer for the current question. So basically what we're going to do in the right hand sidebar here, there's a couple of sections, but this part here at the bottom shows a list of objects that we can use. The way this is set up, the first two are label and round rect button for a rounded rectangle. These may not be in this order, but this is, if they're not, there's a big list of stuff you can scroll through and find what you're looking for. So we're just gonna grab a label and drag it around. As you're moving objects around here, there's some handy guide markers for the center of the view. There's also ones for kind of a sort of edge of the margins, not right up against the edge, but it's a little bit away with a little bit of margin. The same thing at the top. So if you want to align something to sort of that corner or there or on the side, those are there. There's a midline sort of vertical as well, so that these guides will pop up. So we put this label here at the top, and then you can also sort of drag the width and drag that to the, again, that sort of margin edge is what I'm looking for here. And so that's the first label. With that selected, then there's some a group of buttons over here and one of these has properties for the selected object, and it's this one here that sort of looks like a slider. There's for most of these things, this is for the label. For most of the objects in there, there's a lot of things that you can set. The original text, center alignment, font size, colors, all sorts of things. So there's a lot of options that can be set. For this one, what we actually want to do is up here at the top, there's a text that says label. We want to delete that, so this is going to have no text, and like for it to be centered. And then want to get a second label, and I'm going to add it in the center, and then do the same thing, sort of drag the edges. This one, I want to change the text to 3 question marks, and again have that centered. So those are the two labels. We want 2 buttons. Drag that in. Probably helpful to would have been helpful to not delete the text on the first label. And I'm going to call this, if you click in the center of the button, you can change the text. I actually want to drag the edges of this out also, just so everything has kind of a consistent width. And then I need a separate button for to show the answer. And double click on that. Alright, so the end result here, we have a label with no default text that's centered. We have a button. We have another label, and text is set to 3 question marks, and then a show answer button. Any of these colors and some other properties can be set. You can change the fonts or sizes and things like that. Feel free to play around with that part. But that's the interface that we're looking for at this point. The next part we need to do is go into the view controller and define the interface that we're going to use. Then we'll come back here to this, and there's some connections we'll need to set, and then we'll do the implementation of the view controller, and that will be the completed application.